was the 1980s and Battery Park City was being built on landfill over the coastline of the Hudson River. The massive project was creating a major new 92-acre business and residential neighborhood with parks and plazas on the west side of Manhattan. There were very few residential buildings, schools, or stores in this area or Tribeca in the 1980s. The World Financial Center and the Plaza, as they were originally named, were very innovative when they opened in 1985. The new buildings would bring in 20,000 people to work daily. Currently, 40,000 people work in Battery Park City and 16,000 reside here. In 1983, architect Cesar Pelli was chosen through a competition to envision the future 14-acre complex for the design and development of Battery Park City's commercial center. A 3.5-acre public plaza connects the commercial complex to the Hudson River. The plaza is the premier open space of the development and geographically the center in a network of parks and open spaces in the new neighborhood. Simultaneously, the Battery Park City Authority was establishing a fine arts committee and an arts program for public spaces throughout Battery Park City. Cesar Pelli had chosen architect Sia Armajani and artist Scott Burton to shape and design the plaza. Instead of choosing individual works of art for display, the art was integrated into the design of the plaza. The comprehensive approach with art and design and public engagement created a cohesive space where people can gather, talk, enjoy views of sky and river, and relax. Both artists chose to move away from art that is monumental or exotic, and instead to work with familiar and humble materials associated with New York City, stone and steel.
Today we're looking at a work by American artist Scott Burton called Waterfront Plaza in collaboration with his great friend Sia Armajani. I think that they encouraged each other, they learned from each other, and they shared many, many concerns in their work, including the idea of art and its role in public life. The 1980s were a time in New York that was extremely difficult for people working from a queer identity perspective. It was a time when there was a lack of acceptance and a lack of understanding, and in fact, those are still issues that we work on today. Burton lived with HIV/AIDS, and we lost him to AIDS-related complications in 1989, and he very much was working from his positionality as a queer man. And Burton's work offers a promise that this environment, this artwork, this architectural place and park belongs to people from any point of view, people who speak any language, who have any sense of gender that they choose, people who come from all over the world to be here together in New York City and exist in harmony and to learn about each other and accept each other without demanding explanation or a cause for being. And what this park offered to people was a place that they could spend time during the day and experience New York City's proximity to the ocean and the river and nature in a way that had never been offered in this neighborhood before. Scott Burton's work is rooted in a practice of art criticism and performance. Burton originally was a playwright, then an art critic, and then was working in performance while he simultaneously developed this furniture-based vernacular that he continued to work with for the entirety of his life. And those furniture forms initially were relatively portable, small experiences. And so if we look at these seating arrangements, this is what we're looking at is the very essence of what could be a table, the very essence of what could make up a bench. And then offering those things to a public that then can have their lunch or interact or wait for someone here. Participating in an artwork, whether they really realize it's an artwork or not. There's a practicality to the geometry which totally reveals the way in which it was made, the way in which it was conceived. It's composed of as few cuts as possible. simple geometric forms that are immediately apparent to the viewer. And I think that this conveys some of the complexity of Burton's work that's operating on several different levels. On one hand, this is a welcoming space for you to have your lunch or meet a friend. On the other hand, it's really easy to see anthropomorphic form that could be read as a head and shoulders and possibly legs or arms. And this is something that also appears in Burton's work really often. And I think it reminds us of the link between furniture and the human body, and that these things are welcoming, sort of desirous forms that we are meant to come and be with.
Visit Battery Park City in Lower Manhattan and see almost 24 examples of the art of our time, from installations and landworks to sculpture and memorials.